Come on in, come on in. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as I invite Director Randall Thompson to invoke God's presence.
Bless the Lord. Father, we are thankful for this morning. For Father, your word says in Psalms 150 and verse 6, it says, let everything that has breath praise the Lord. And Father, we're here this morning to give you thanks. We're here, Father, to praise your name. For Father, this morning, you have given us grace and travel mercies to bring us all here this morning. In the name of Jesus Christ. Father, what a blessing you are to have the 19th edition of Caribbean Week of Agriculture right here in St. Kitts in the name of Jesus. Father, this week, show yourself strong. Let everyone here, let them leave not the same way that they came. May they be blessed while they're here. Father, may they be transfer of knowledge while they're here. And Father, we pray, let doors open, doors of innovations, because of what shall happen here in St. Kitts and Nevis in the name of Jesus Christ. Father, we pray, let this whole region, because of this event, see a next level of prosperity in the name of Jesus Christ. Father, this morning, may your hand rest upon this whole event for the whole week in the name of Jesus Christ. Father, by the blessing of the Lord, we decree and declare that everyone here is blessed. Those who are here and shall leave, Father, may their journeys be blessed. Father, let every event carry you, and may every event be impactful in the name of Jesus Christ. Father, I decree and declare that this event shall be successful, that this event shall bring forth blessings to come for many years. May this nation of St. Kitts Nevis see higher level of prosperity and growth because of this event and the whole region and afar in your precious name. Father, we officially invoke your blessings that this event is blessed because of you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of St. Christopher and Nevis.
O land of beauty, our country where peace abounds, thy children stand free on the strength of will and love, with good in all our schools, St. Kitts and Nevis, a nation bound together with a common destiny. As stalwarts we stand for justice and liberty, with wisdom and truth we will serve and honor thee. No sword nor spear can conquer, for God will sure defend. His blessing shall forever to posterity extend.
From many distant lands, our
Please stand.
forefathers came. Some seeking seeking adventure, some bound in chains. Through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for CARICOM. Though great and diverse be our ethnicities, the bonds that unite us are stronger than these. We dine, we pray, we love, we dance and we play. We relate to each other, the West Indian way. Today as a people united, determined and steadfast we stand. We look to a brand new horizon, the future now firmly in our hands. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for CARICOM. Hele, hele, bravo. Open you sing CARICOM. Leve, leve, wow. Naki you drum CARICOM. Tabu ya tabu, awo. Open you sing CARICOM. Leve, leve, wow. Raise your voices high and sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for CARICOM. Hele, hele, bravo. Open your sting CARICOM. Leve, leve, wow. Hele, hele. Tabu ya tabu, awo. Naki your drum CARICOM. Leve, leve, wow.
Your Excellency, Dame Marcella Liber, GCM GJP, Governor General of the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis. Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, Acting Prime Minister, Minister of Education, Youth Empowerment, Housing, Human Settlement, Ecclesiastical and Faith-Based Affairs, Social Development, Gender Affairs, Aging and Disabilities, and Mrs. Hanley. Honorable Lenine Blanchett, Speaker of the National Assembly. Honorable Samuel Duggins, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources and Cooperatives, Small Business and Entrepreneurship, Sports and the Creative Economy and Entertainment and the Arts, and incoming chair of the 19th Caribbean Week of Agriculture 2025, and Mrs. Duggins. Honorable Senator Garth Wilkin, Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, and Mrs. Wilkin. Honorable Conress Maynard, Minister of Public Infrastructure, et al., and Mrs. Maynard. Honorable Masha Henderson, Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, International Trade, Employment and Labor and Urban Development. Dr. Marcus L. Natta, Cabinet Secretary. Honorable Mark Brantley, Leader of His Majesty's Loyal Opposition and Premier of Nevis, and Mrs. Brantley. Honorable Eric Evelyn, Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Housing, Cooperatives, and Fisheries of the Nevis Island Administration and Federal Parliamentarian for Nevis 10. Other members of the National Assembly. Honorable Ministers of Agriculture and representatives of Ministers of Agriculture of the Caribbean Community CARICOM and the Caribbean region. Members of the Nevis Island Administration. Dr. Wendell Samuel, Assistant Secretary General and Head of the Economic Integration, Innovation and Development Directorate of the Caribbean Community CARICOM. Your Excellency Edward Ling Wen Tao, Ambassador of the Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan. Other members of the Diplomatic Corps. Mr. Miguel Fleming, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources and Cooperatives. Other permanent secretaries and senior government officials of St. Kitts and Nevis and the region. Dr. Renata Clark, Sub-Regional Coordinator for the Caribbean at the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. Dr. Manuel Otero, Director General of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, AICA. Dr. Didicus Jules, Director General of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS. Other chief representatives and executive directors of international and regional organizations with diplomatic status. Members of staff of the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Cooperatives, St. Kitts and Nevis. Aisha Mena and members of the Nigerian delegation. Sponsors and partners of the 19th Caribbean Week of Agriculture 2025, visiting delegations, technical teams, and other stakeholders, presenters, participants, and other specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Carla Berridge, and it is my honor to welcome you to the 19th Caribbean Week of Agriculture, being held under the theme, Sowing Change, Harvesting Resilience, Transforming Our Caribbean Food Systems for 2025 and beyond. This week, as the flagship event of our region's agricultural calendar gets underway, we gather to reaffirm the central role of agriculture in securing our economic, social, and environmental stability, and to chart a bold, resilient path forward for Caribbean food systems. The Caribbean Week of Agriculture is not just a meeting. It is a forum for action, where governments, private sector stakeholders, researchers, farmers, and youth come together to forge a common vision for agriculture. This year's program is especially exciting as we address some of the most pressing issues of our time. This week promises not only technical discussions, but also vibrant cultural and practical showcases of our region's talent and ingenuity. As we open this important week, I invite you to engage fully, share your expertise, and most importantly, leave here with a renewed commitment to building a resilient agricultural future for our region. At this time, I will now invite Miguel Fleming, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Fisheries, Marine Resources, and Agriculture, to officially welcome us.
Good morning, and a warm St. Kitts and Nevis welcome to each of you. And I would like to observe the protocol that has been enabled to establish. It is both my privilege and my honor as Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Marine Resources to extend greetings and open-hearted hospitality to you here in St. Kitts and Nevis for the 19th Caribbean Week of Agriculture. The powerful theme, Sowing Change, Harvesting Resilience, Transforming Our Caribbean Food Systems for 2025 and beyond, is a call to action and for collective commitment by all of us here in this room. For us in St. Kitts and Nevis, hosting this prestigious regional event is more than an honor. It is a responsibility. It is an opportunity to showcase our shared determination to reduce food import dependence, strengthen climate resilience, empower our farmers and the fisherfolk, and create a future where Caribbean people feed Caribbean people. This week, as we share best practices, deliberate on challenges, and build new partnerships, let us remember that our true strength lies in unity. No single nation can transform its food system alone, but together, across borders, across disciplines, and across generations, we can sow the changes needed to harvest a resilient and sustainable future. So today, I welcome you not only to St. Kitts and Nevis, but into a spirit of collaboration, innovation, and hope. May this 19th week of Caribbean Week of Agriculture leave an indelible mark on our region and be remembered as gathering where bold ideas turned into real action. On behalf of the government of St. Kitts and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, I say welcome, welcome, welcome. We are delighted to host you, and we look forward to a week of fruitful engagement, meaningful dialogue, and lasting outcomes. Thank you, and may this week be a success for all of us.
Thank you, Permanent Secretary Fleming. We appreciate that very warm welcome. I will now invite Dr. Renata Clark, Sub-Regional Coordinator with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO.
Good morning, everyone. With protocols established, it leaves me just to say excellencies, distinguished delegates, collaborators, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure we're all very glad to be here. We are here once again to exchange experiences and to use each other's knowledge and ideas to drive agriculture forward in the region. People ask me from time to time if I think that we're moving fast enough. And they ask me about the progress that has been made in relation to the 25 by 25. And my answer has been that there's been a lot of effort and a lot of progress that's been made. And much of it has been in resetting the foundation for a more efficient, productive, and sustainable sector. And I go on, it is my expectation that the visible advances for agriculture will be accelerating over the next 5 years. I hope that time proves me right, but for sure, we have to keep our foot heavily on the gas. In this pressing context, with all of us being swamped with work, why do we keep coming back to CWA? One answer is clear. Where else could we find all of the key players in one place? I know that I certainly will be stalking ministers and PSs and collaborators, so watch out. But we're here not only to be focusing on our own interests and our own program. We're here to listen and learn from each other and to support the collective. We're here to put our energy behind the advances that we are collectively seeking, and to be held to account for how we have or have not supported that movement forward. When I think back to the last session of CWA, I can see continuity and progress. For example, last year in St. Vincent, FAO participated in a session on promoting private investment in agriculture. We and other key actors have acted upon the shared lessons and experiences, and the collective effort has led to a new fund that is operational and has started to mobilize private capital for investment. There will be a session on Wednesday morning to reflect on the gains and to prepare to expand on these. Also, last year, I remember very well the discussions on youth engagement in agriculture, and this too has evolved. There is a session later today, a youth-led session on local agriculture first policy. And as the youth strategy that was discussed last year continues to roll out. Mariculture. Last year, we spoke about our plans for piloting mariculture in some of the Caribbean countries. And today I can say I have seen the mariculture cages and I have seen the fish in Jamaica. So I was going to say cages on the ground, but more correctly, cages in the water, and fish that will soon be in those cages. And we're well on our way for St. Kitts and St. Lucia as well. In line with what we discussed on climate smart agriculture last year, we've been working with several countries who are now using soil scanners, digital sensors, and fertilizer programs for more efficient use of agricultural inputs. And I know that during the week, we will be hearing a lot more of the progress that have been made by a number of our partners. Finally, I won't continue forever my list of reflections, but I do have one more that I'd like to mention, because we've been speaking for a while about the number of countries whom we have helped prepare to conduct agricultural censuses. And I'm happy to say that between last year and this year, 3 CARICOM countries have implemented their agricultural censuses, and I'm told that 2 are right on their heels. So we are seeing progress, we are seeing continuity, and this is important. I think P.S. Fleming said turning words into action. So we have been turning words into action. CWA is an important check-in point where we all share ideas, get feedback, and plan forward. But we then really do need to move forward. CWA is more valuable when we can count on what we hear and use this information in our own planning. As useful a gathering as CWA already is, I believe that it could become even more so. I look forward to more consolidation of sessions to enable holistic discussions of vexing issues that are hindering inclusive and sustainable sector development. A think tank that offers insights that truly influence our path forward. And with that, I would simply like to wish us all an insightful week. Thank you.
I want to thank Dr. Klatt for those insightful remarks. The progress being made across the region shall truly be recognized as we move forward. I now want to call on Mr. Brian Bogart, and he's the representative and country director for the World Food Program.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to also stand on protocol, but I'll acknowledge the Governor General, Marcela Lebourd, and Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, Deputy Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. Honorable Ministers of CARICOM countries, CARICOM representatives, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It is a true honor to join you in commemorating the 19th Annual Caribbean Week of Agriculture, a powerful testament to our shared commitment to advancing the agricultural sector and confronting the pressing challenges of food security in the region. Before I proceed, allow me to express my sincere appreciation to the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis for their leadership in hosting this year's CWA. This year's gathering comes at a pivotal moment. The Caribbean Week of Agriculture has long been a vital platform, but today it offers us an opportunity to strategize and intensify our collective efforts to support transformative initiatives under the framework of CARICOM's 25 by 25 plus 5 initiative. We do so against a backdrop of global uncertainty, where protectionist policies, trade disruptions, and the increased potential for supply chain shocks are contributing to inflationary trends that threaten to erode purchasing power. Food prices in the region are already amongst the highest in the world and represent the principal driver of food insecurity for the poorest populations, including those struggling to recover from the impact of climate disasters. As with many of us gathered here today, I followed the events at the United Nations General Assembly last week with keen interest. At a certain point, I reflected on the words of the Irish poet W.B. Yeats, who made these remarks during the First World War. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. I then listened as Prime Minister Mia Mottley referenced these same words in her remarks with reference to the great Nigerian novelist Chinua Achebe. And I thought to myself, maybe I'm not alone here. Maybe I'm onto something. And as I read through the lines of the poem again, these words jumped off the page. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. One thing should be clear to us. This is not a time to give in to despair. It is not a time to lack conviction. Instead, we must rise to the occasion and adapt to the evolving global context with the needs and interests of the people who need us most at the very center of our work. Let us be the ones filled with passionate intensity. This year's theme, Sowing Change, Harvesting Resilience, Transforming Our Caribbean Food Systems for 2025 and Beyond, is a call for urgent action. And while the challenges are stark, the opportunities are also real and within our grasp. First, we must confront the systemic vulnerabilities that expose the region to global price shocks. Narrowly based food import markets, real-time supply chains, and limited productive and processing capacity leaves the Caribbean vulnerable to every storm, pandemic, and distant conflict. The impacts are anything but mere abstractions. They are the lived experience of those people who do not know where their next meal is coming from. Today, an estimated 3.2 million people, or 42% of the English and Dutch-speaking Caribbean, are food insecure. This inequality in access to nutritious food is not just a number. It manifests in the daily reality faced by people across the Caribbean and undermines health, education, and economic opportunity. While we rightly set goals and targets in terms of economic and trade data, we should also seek to frame success around progress in achieving food security outcomes, with a particular focus on improving access to food for populations represented in bottom quintiles of income measurements. Second, we must champion an integrated approach to facilitate the movement of commodities and value addition within the region and explore scalable solutions for import diversification. With its unique geographic position between North and South America, the trade opportunities for the Caribbean can become a source of strength rather than one of vulnerability. To achieve this, however, investments in transport and trade infrastructure must be mobilized with a view to incentivizing local producers and private sector actors along the value chain. In addition to interregional trade commodities moving more efficiently across borders, there is an opportunity to fundamentally proceed from analysis and dialogue to action and implementation. At the same time, we must empower communities from the ground up, expanding household production and promoting livelihood opportunities grounded in community-based approaches. Complemented by social protection programs, these can serve to reduce household food expenditures, increase income levels, promote recovery from natural disasters, and improve access to nutritious food. Similarly, school meals programs linked to local agricultural production can serve to build community cohesion, act as a bridge to support emerging producers to transition from public procurement systems to competing in open markets, while providing access to the fresh fruits and vegetables, vitamins and minerals that young minds require to thrive. In conclusion, I reaffirm the unwavering commitment of the World Food Programme to support CARICOM nations and their people on the journey to food system resilience. Let us be the ones to embrace the challenge of this moment with passion and with conviction. Let us build the partnerships, strengthen the systems, and unlock the financing needed to realize 25 by 25. And let us work together to build a resilient and peaceful future for the generations to come, one where every Caribbean citizen has consistent access to safe, nutritious food and the opportunity to prosper. And since I've referenced an Irish poet in my remarks, let me conclude with a phrase often credited to the first president of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and made famous in the Caribbean by the artist Jacob Miller. Forward ever, backward never. Thank you.
Thank you to Mr. Bogart for his insightful remarks. We'll now take a little break from the speeches and we'll invite the Brotherhood drummers for a cultural exchange. And as we wait for the Brotherhood drummers, I may have to call on Mr. Hussein. I hope he is ready for us. Mr. Ansari Hussein, and he's the Executive Director of the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, CARID.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I know I cannot be as entertaining as the drummers, but I will try to keep you engaged. I stand, of course, on protocols well established by yourself. Good day to everyone. This week is the Caribbean Week of Agriculture. I don't think I need to tell you that. This is the week in which we showcase all that is important in regional agriculture, the progress made, and make changes where necessary. We demonstrate new technologies. We share knowledge and experiences to further enhance and develop our regional agriculture sector, and we lobby for policies which will help the sector achieve its goals and objectives. Agricultural stakeholders from around the region and some from across the world have descended on St. Kitts and Nevis, which in itself brings a lot of networking opportunities and opportunities for collaboration. At the heart of all this is the farmer. At the end of the day, we at CARI, we do all that we do for the farmer so that the region can achieve the goals of the 25 by 2025 +5 agenda. We do our part in introducing or developing some of the tools required for farmers to improve production and productivity, which will ultimately lead to improved profitability, income, lives, and livelihoods. Whether this be integrated pest management strategies to target pests of economic importance, provision of planting material, introducing new crop varieties or livestock breeds showing higher productivity under our conditions, new digital technologies to improve technology transfer or to improve farm operations, new post-harvest treatments to increase shelf life and thereby opening up new markets, developing value-added products or development of new products out of traditional farm waste. The list can go on, but the point is that we do what we do primarily for the farming community, the producers of the primary product, which we all wish to increase. Our farmers are resilient people. They face a host of challenges, but remain in the business of producing food for our communities. And when we speak about challenges, right now as we speak, farmers and indeed the people in the Bahamas are facing the wrath of Tropical Storm Imelda. Our thoughts and prayers are, of course, with them. Our farmers are resourceful, dedicated, hardworking, and proud, and we must do what we can to help them. Agricultural research must be seen as a fundamental part of this support system. President Ali, I noticed, like to use this word ecosystem, and agricultural research must be seen as a fundamental part of this ecosystem. CARI is the only institution identified in the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas responsible for conducting agricultural research in CARICOM. This is your Caribbean organization. We need investments in R&D to meet the demand for food for an increasing world population. estimated to be more than 2 billion more people in 2050 than there are today. Besides increasing productivity and stabilizing food prices, agricultural R&D offers a high return on public investment, typically believed to be in the range of about 40 to 60% per year. Remember, the knowledge and other outputs from agricultural research benefits all farmers and consumers too. It is a public good, thereby justifying public investment. Sometimes we don't even consider that producing higher amounts of local healthy food can reduce the expenses of healthcare for our governments. The International Food Policy Research Institute has long argued that spending on agricultural research constitutes a sound investment in poverty reduction and agricultural and economic growth through improvements in productivity. And while I advocate for increasing public sector investment in agricultural research, equally I urge the private sector to do so as well. There are too few and far in between examples of private sector funding for agricultural research in our part of the world, and these cases are generally very limited in scope. Players in the private sector must understand that while some of them may believe they're in the business of import and distribution and not agricultural R&D, must be wary that there may be a time when you can't import due to conflicts abroad or other incidents which disrupt shipping lines or cause countries to keep supplies for themselves, or prices which make it uneconomical to import. So you too stand to benefit from R&D. And yes, we in the Caribbean do access funding from international donors. And while we are grateful and appreciate the support, it sometimes comes with conditions. So they may tell you, you can't work here, you can't work there, you can't work in Montserrat, you can't work in Cayman Islands, you can't work in St. Kitts and Nevis or whatnot. So it comes with conditions. I urge government representatives of member states in particular to consider this urgent matter of funding for agricultural research and development during this week of activities and find a mechanism to address it. We cannot solve the problems of 2025 with 1986 money. The theme for this CWA is Sowing Change, Harvesting Resilience, Transforming our Caribbean Food Systems for 2025 and beyond. I submit that a research and development function that is well-financed is key to this transformation. It simply cannot happen without it. This week, CARDI, along with our national and regional partners, will be hosting a number of events, including sessions on roots and tubers, digital solutions for improving agri-food system efficiency, protected agriculture, strengthening agricultural extension and building resilience, participating in technical meetings, and so on. We'll also host our 38th meeting of our governing body, our Board of Governors. I take the opportunity to invite you to also visit our booth at the Trade and Exhibition in the Savannah, lower down the road. And I think from Wednesday we started that. And then also out in the hall, we have a little booth there that you can take a look at the work that we do in St. Kitts and Nevis and other parts of the Caribbean. We also look forward to meeting and sharing our experiences, networking and strengthening our partnerships. We at CARDI, we want to take the opportunity to thank the people and government of St. Kitts and Nevis for being a most gracious host and the members of the various planning committees for your commitment and hard work in bringing this week to life. It is clear so far that you have done a very excellent job. To all participants, I wish you a successful and enriching CWA 2025. Thank you.
Thank you to Mr. Hussein for sharing his valuable perspective. I will now call on Dr. Manuel Otero, and he's the Director General of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, AICA.
Good morning. Maintaining the suspense with the drummers. Let me recognize, first of all, Her Excellency, Marcella Liebert, Governor General of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Ian Hanley, Deputy Prime Minister of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Samal Daggins, Minister of Agriculture. On his behalf, I want to thank for being a generous host, observing protocol, all other members of the cabinet, representatives of CARICOM, Dr. Wendell Samuels, members of the Diplomatic Corps, international organizations, representatives of international and regional associations, farmers, and women organizations, ICA crew, very important. Don't forget ICA crew. I'm happy, very happy and honored to be participating for the third time in a CW event, and especially in this 19th edition. CWA represents more than a gathering. It is a reaffirmation of our shared vision that Caribbean agriculture is at the heart of resilience, prosperity, and food security. When I was first elected Director General of ICA back in 2017, it was on the backing of very strong support from the Caribbean region. And when I was officially sworn in January 2018, I made a solemn pledge that I will be faithful to the region for that show of support. And I hope that in small measure, I have lived up that expectation. One of my first acts was to request the development of a differentiated strategy for the Caribbean region, recognizing that the region had its own unique peculiarities and circumstances. Consequently, it couldn't be business as usual when developing technical cooperation access to address the agriculture and rural development priorities of the region. This differentiated strategy for the region, therefore, allowed ICA to be more responsive in its technical cooperation intervention in the Caribbean region. As such, the Institute's action have taken into account the needs of smallholder farmers, the high food input dependency of the region, and the many poor resourced food chain actors grappling with the myriad challenges, including those related to soil degradation, frequent natural disasters, generally low levels of productivity, adoption and access to extra-regional markets for agri-food products. I think standing here now, I can report that in the last 8 years, we have seen enormous strides in advancing the regional agriculture sector. I feel enormous pride that ICA has made contributions to these achievements under my administration. In addition to the investment in maintaining alive our network of 14 offices in the Caribbean region and executing a diverse technical cooperation agenda in the region, as part of our differentiated approach to the Caribbean region, in 2020, I instituted a special fund for the Caribbean member states to respond directly to priority requests of the Ministers of Agriculture. This fund initially emerged in an attempt to accelerate the rehabilitation of the agriculture sector and guarantee food security during the COVID-19 and immediate post-COVID-19 periods, but later I continued this fund to provide direct support to the objectives of CARICOM Vision 25 by 25 plus 5. And to date, we have expended something less of $1 million in this fund, covering a wide range of priority national and regional project initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, this apparently simple act has yielded success beyond what we could have imagined. And to illustrate, let me indicate some of the legacy products which have emanated from this special fund. These include support to CARICOM in developing a new biofortified rice variety high in zinc, which was released in October 2023. Support to the OECS sub-region in the development and execution of a food and agriculture systems transformation for a fast strategy. Extensive capacity building intervention among the vast number of project interventions under this fund. I think the COVID experience was a watershed moment in which AICA acted with speed and tenacity to support the region towards normalization of the agriculture sector and their national economies during this testing period. In response to an emergency ministerial meeting of Caribbean ministers of agriculture during COVID-19, AICA developed an agriculture extension application, which has since been disseminated to countries in the region to overcome these challenges. Similarly, an agriculture trade application was developed by AICA for CARICOM in a bid to boost intra-regional trade. And I understand at this CW 2025, after successful piloting by the CARICOM Secretariat, it is being formally launched under the title Business to Business Application. Given the importance of science, technology, and innovation, and as a central pillar for agricultural development, during my tenure, I have continued CARDIS, a direct annual subvention of $200,000 annual basis to support CARI in executing priority regional projects. I am pleased to announce that by the end of this year, we will be completing the first phase of a regional center of excellence for agriculture innovation located in Jamaica, but with the purpose of serving the entire region. In the same token, upon direct request of the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, we are also currently implementing a soils rehabilitation project in that country. In finding solutions to the challenges posed by the vast deposits of volcanic ash in its agricultural soils following the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano in 2021. As mentioned earlier, the Caribbean is a region which is frequently beset by catastrophic risks, such as all types of natural disasters. We have responded to these challenges by leveraging our relationship with other AICA members in the Americas and other regions of the hemisphere. In addition to using of our own resources to support the recovery efforts, we developed a broad institutional mechanism, the Hemispheric Fund for Agricultural Resilience and Sustainability in the Americas, known as FORSA, which was launched in 2024 in an attempt to effectively respond to the persistent challenge of climate finance facing developing countries, and we have already undertaken projects in this region under this fund. Our South-South intervention efforts have resulted in the donation of significant relief supplies and seeds from friendly governments, particularly Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, and Chile. And I hope this bridge will be continued and expanded to the greater benefit of the Caribbean region. As I approach to the end of my term as AICA Director General, I have launched a number of new initiatives to bolster those already undergoing in the region and accelerate the delivery of tangible results. Let me just mention Agri-Talent Program of the Americas, where this year, 2025, 10-semester long internships will be offered to young professionals from the OECS member states. Quality Seed Program for Disaster Response in the Caribbean. This initiative aims to strengthen disaster preparedness and post-disaster recovery in the Caribbean by developing a climate resiliency system that ensures timely access to high-quality seeds and contributes to long-term food and nutrition security. regional Fusarium TR4 initiative that recognizes the threat posed by exotic diseases such as TR4, which attacks the Musa species and poses a major threat to food and nutrition security in the Caribbean. It aims to improve the capacity of countries to safeguard borders from this devastating disease. ICA-CATI Small Ruminant Program. It recognizes the high import dependency and the corresponding challenge to reduce the high meat product imports of OECS countries. It therefore aims to build in-house capacity to boost small ruminant production. A strategic partnerships strengthening initiative. This initiative seeks to increase and share with the CARICOM member states the tremendous benefits that ICA has experienced from its mechanisms, which foster strategic partnerships with development allies in both the public and private sector. ICA recognizes rural leaders of the America as part of an initiative created to recognize men and women who leave their mark and make a difference in rural areas of Latin America and the Caribbean. This recognition has highlighted 15 Caribbean rural leaders who have fulfilled an irreplaceable dual role, guarantors of food and nutrition security, and at the same time, guardians of the planet's biodiversity and rural territories. ICA continues to provide support for women and youth in agriculture, recognizing them as vulnerable demographics that require specific attention. In this vein, we continue our support for CANROP, Helene's Daughters, and other women's organizations and producer groups in the countries, extending also that support to youths and youth organizations in the sector. We are indeed happy to be part of the process for the selection and award of Caribbean Farmer of the Year awards at every CWA. I would like to also take this opportunity to inform you that this is my final year as Director General of ICA. My dear friends, this is a bittersweet moment for me. On one hand, I feel immense joy as we have built such a strong relationship over the last 8 years. And honestly, I truly feel embraced as a member of the Caribbean family every time I come to the region. On the other hand, as my term as ICA Director General is coming to an end, I am also here to bid you farewell, and I will surely miss the excellent collaboration and friendships with ministers, officials, and stakeholders in the agriculture sector in the Caribbean region. The Inter-American Board of Agriculture, IABA, ICA's highest governing body, which is comprised of the 34 ministers of agriculture of our member states, 14 of which are from the Caribbean region, will be meeting in Brazil from November 3rd through 5th of this year to elect a new Director General for the Institute. We have 3 excellent candidates, each of them highly qualified and representing the heterogeneous reality of the hemisphere. Let me express that in my view, the best candidate is the one that member states exercising their sovereign and non-delegable responsibility decide as the new Director General to succeed me beginning in middle of January 2026 at 10:15 a.m. Why not? Until then, I will be the Director General. I have the right to select the time. I must state that whatever the outcome, I am confident that ICA's commitment to the Caribbean region will not waver. To all ministers of agriculture, past and present, who have graced the doors of ICA and have given me their unwavering support in executing my mandate as Director General of this great institution, ICA, I want to extend a hearty thanks to you all, and I must say here that I consider you my personal friends now. to the Secretary General of the CARICOM Secretariat, Dr. Carla Bardet and her team, and to Director General Dr. Didakos Jules of the SES and his team, I thank you for your disposition of working together in transforming the agriculture and rural sector of the region over the last 8 years. To the regional institutions such as CARDE, University of West Indies, 5CS, CDB, amongst many others, I say thank you for your kind support. I include all international organizations that is impractical to mention all here on this occasion. I express my gratitude for your support to the farmers' organization, youth and women organization, and I say a heartfelt thank you for making our work in the region such a rewarding experience. Ladies and gentlemen, ICA reaffirms its commitment to member states in promoting the sustainable development of agriculture and rural milieu as a collective endeavor. We look forward to hugely success, CW 2025, and remain ready and willing to follow up on the commitments and decisions emanating from this important regional event. Muchas gracias, and I thank you.
We're grateful to Dr. Otero for his insights, and we wish you the best as you make your exit as Director General of ICA. We now have another opportunity for cultural exchange as we have a steel pan rendition from Mr. Shama Pemberton. And we have another round of applause for Shama. Thank you so much, Shama. We now continue with our remarks, and we will now call Dr. Olufumi Ayokunle Ogonsiende, Executive Director of the Ministry of Finance, Incorporated.
This is so unfair. I wish I had gone before the steel pan. And I also wish I had brought maybe Davido or one of Afrobeat musicians with us. And when I looked around the room, everybody was bobbing. And I was trying really hard not to dance because I had a speech to recite. But good morning, everybody. I will want to stand on existing protocols. But I will also want to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Hanley, distinguished the Excellencies present, Honorable Ministers, guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Femi Ogunshainde, and I'm the Chief Investment Officer for a company called Ministerial of Finance Incorporated, MOFI. MOFI is the asset manager and the custodian for everything the federal government owns, federal government of Nigeria owns. And hopefully before the end of the week, I hope to try to sell the same vision to the Federal Republic of St. Kitts and Nevis to try to establish their own version of MOFI. And I'll be able to tell you some of the wonderful things we've been able to achieve with this platform. So it is a privilege to be here in the Caribbean. It's my first time in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I actually came with the intention of losing a bit of weight. I came in last night. Thank you very much. And between last night and this morning, I should have known when they said the Caribbean Week of Agriculture. I had to sample the food. But 2 days into this program, clearly I'm going to be going back home with some extra pounds. If this is what we plan to serve the rest of the world, then I am the ambassador. So thank you very much for the wonderful hospitality, and I feel very much at home. So once again, it is a privilege to be here in the Caribbean, engaging with partners who share with us a deep commitment to food security, agricultural resilience, and South-South cooperation. I bring you warm greetings from Nigeria, our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has essentially charted the course that we're essentially following under a very specific 8-point agenda, of which agriculture is a key part. And also from the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, MOFI, the investment arm of Nigeria. A very quick trivia. MOFI was actually established before the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The country gained independence in 1960. MOFI was established in 1959. And the idea was for us to use this as a platform to essentially grow the wealth of the people. Unfortunately, we remained a shelf company for decades until 2023, when the late President Buhari decided to reconstitute the institution and put capable people to run it. Today, we have about $40 billion under management, and the goal is to grow this to about $100 billion by 2030. We have 3 mandates, and they are very, very important. One, we have to find everything we own as a country. The West, everybody focuses on what we owe, but we're actually a very rich nation in natural resources, in liquid assets, but we just have to create a central repository where we can actually see what we have and establish that as a platform when we engage the international markets. Two, for the assets that we have found, we have to professionalize them. We've got to run them very well. And one of the things we're doing is to make sure we establish corporate governance principles to basically demand for value creation from our companies and to have them participate in the annual funding of the company, the country through budgets, participation, and to also help us as we chart this growth towards the $1 trillion economy. And the third thing we're doing is to mobilize resources. And this is where I come in, to ensure that we can actually catalyze investments and raise funds based on this platform in order to fund all the initiatives that we want to achieve. A quick example will be the setting up of the Food Sovereignty and Industrialization Program, which is a $1 billion a year, 10 years commitment that will enable us to fund a lot of the initiatives, some of which I'll be talking about very soon, in conjunction with our partners. This way, we can leverage the skill sets we have, we can leverage the resources we have, and we can also leverage partners, and what you have as well to help to build an integrated farming system that can allow us to guarantee food security and also to earn a lot of money for ourselves. Now, when you look at the Nigeria's GDP today, 25% of that, out of all the sectors we have, 25% of that comes from agriculture. And this is still largely being done in a subsistence manner. So it brought a lot of joy to me to hear about how the Caribbean has embraced technology, new practices, because these are already areas of synergies, and cooperation that I see that we can jointly exploit before the end of the week. So this is our story today. 25% of our GDP, and we're actually achieving that with a lot of these challenges. We have, if you look at farming practices, 34 million hectares of arable land, and yet only 1% of that has irrigation. Because of this, we only have one season a year in farming. We don't see this as like a setback, but we see it as an opportunity. One that we can collectively exploit, again, under the theme of mutual food security and food sovereignty. In terms of fertilizer usage, the numbers are there. We are way behind the global average. And these are all things that we are trying to basically address, largely through this, the establishment of this fund. On post-harvest storage, pains me, to admit that we lose about $10 billion a year due to our inability to store what has actually been planted and to hang on to them, $10 billion a year. On processing, we're trying to address this, but as a matter of policy, we do not want to export raw materials. We don't want to export produce. We want to try to focus on adding value to what we harvest before they actually leave the shores of Nigeria. And the last one, which I think is most pertinent to a visible collaboration between Nigeria and the Caribbean, is to make sure that we establish outposts for our produces. And we're looking at setting up agro-processing facilities, storage hubs outside of Nigeria. And hopefully before the end of the week, this is one of those initiatives that we will explore. So agriculture is the backbone of our economy, and yet in too many cases, its true potential remains untapped in Nigeria. We face challenges you may find familiar: low mechanization, limited irrigation, post-harvest losses, insufficient processing, and the difficulty of linking our farmers to structured markets. Every year, we lose as much as $10 billion in post-harvest losses, and we spend yet another $10 billion to import food that could have been grown locally. And that's why in MOFI, in order to address this and to serve as the basis of catalyzing investments, we created this initiative called Integranium. What we have done as well is to basically take a look at the agro-ecological zones we have in Nigeria and to try to find out what each region can actually focus on in order to sustain some sort of relative advantage. And so Integranium essentially focuses on what each one of those 6 zones can actually produce around crop farming, livestock, and fisheries. And it will be the basis of the investments that we will put down and also have our financial partners to put down. So across the 6 geopolitical zones, Integranium organizes agriculture by climate and by comparative advantages. So soya beans, rice, and cattle in the north, for example, cocoa and cassava in the southwest, oil palm, rubber in the south-south, aquaculture across multiple zones. And it is an integrated system. It matches land and climate with the right crops and then builds infrastructure and partnerships around them. And already we have identified and prepared flagship projects under Integranium. We have the Trans-Sahara Initiative, a large-scale 500,000 hectare soybean and sugarcane program with processing capacity to make Nigeria a major exporter rather than importer. We have the Integranium Copcraft, a 10,000 hectare special agro-industrial processing zone with integrated farming, value-added processing, and even a Ronji-style wholesale market. And then we have Novachill, a national cold storage network to finally solve the 10 billion post-harvest loss problem and enable trade in perishables. But let me be very clear. This is not just about Nigeria. We believe Integranium can be a platform for a South-South collaboration, and that is why I'm here. We see several areas where Nigeria and the Caribbean, Latin American countries can collaborate. One in financing, where we can pool our resources together, working with MOFI and other relevant institutions, the Caribbean Development Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, and others to unlock blended finance for agriculture. We also want to look at joint projects where we can establish pilot farms and agro-processing hubs in both regions, creating supply chains that reduce losses and boost mutual exports. On trade access, we want to open our markets to one another's produces and align our quality standards and certifications. And on technology and knowledge, by exchanging expertise in irrigation, in aquaculture, hydroponics, and climate-smart agriculture, I believe we can foster this collaboration. But most importantly, it's to propose for us to launch a Nigeria, Caribbean, Latin American food security and sovereignty compact. And this compact will be a long-term alliance to reduce our dependence on external imports, to share logistics, storage, and processing facilities, and to build resilience together as partners in this global south. And to make this real, we propose 3 immediate next steps. 1, for us to establish bilateral working groups to drive this technical exchanges. 2, to develop a framework agreement that will formalize this cooperation. And 3, to select pilot projects. For example, we know we have producers we can actually bring over here, produce, process, store, and then distribute to the markets around here. Excellencies, I believe the time for South-South solidarity is now. Together, Nigeria and the Caribbean can create a new model for agricultural collaboration, one that creates jobs for our people, reduces food imports, strengthens resilience against climate change, and builds prosperity for our country and our people. On behalf of MOFI, I invite you to join us in this transformative journey under Integranium and for us to plant the seeds of partnership today so that tomorrow our nations may harvest abundance. Thank you very much, and I look forward to spending time with you this week.
we extend our gratitude to Dr. Olufome for his very informative presentation. And I'll invite you to turn your attention to the screen as we have a video message from the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security in Nigeria, Senator Abubakar Kyari.
Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you warm greetings from the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the government and people of Nigeria on this important occasion of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture. Today is more than a gathering on agriculture. It is a reunion of family. For centuries, history forced a disconnection between Africa and the Caribbean. But today, we are healing that divide. We are rediscovering each other not as strangers, but as brothers bound by heritage, culture, and shared destiny. This year's theme, From the Soil to Sea, the Journey to Sustainability, captures our shared reality and our shared responsibility. It reminds us that true sustainability means caring for both our soils that feeds us and our seas that connects us. And it calls on Africa and the Caribbean to work together in protecting these resources for future generations. Nigeria's relationship with St. Kitts and Nevis is a shining example of what is possible when brothers reconnect. In just over a year, we have witnessed a remarkable deepening of ties. Through ministerial engagements in agriculture, we have begun charting actionable steps towards joint food security initiatives. Beyond bilateral engagements, Nigerian investors are looking towards the wider Caribbean, particularly in port infrastructure, agriculture, value chains, and education exchanges. Each of these steps is part of a broader, trust-driven partnerships for shared prosperity. Across the Caribbean, agriculture tells the story of resilience and ingenuity. In St. Kitts and Nevis, innovation is driving progress, with pumpkin yields rising by over 50% in 2024 through drought-resilient technologies, alongside renewed diversification efforts from Jamaica's bananas to Trinidad and Tobago's fisheries and Barbados' agrotourism. We see enduring strength that anchor livelihoods and enterprise, clearly showcasing the Caribbean's capacity to turn tradition into modern opportunities. Africa is ready, not only to trade with the Caribbean, but to build resilient food systems with the Caribbean. Consider the facts. Africa holds 65% of the world's remaining uncultivated arable land, and by 2050, Africa's population will reach 2.5 billion people, a youthful, energetic workforce and consumer market across the continent. We are deploying modern technology, drones for crop monitoring, AI-powered irrigation, and digital financial tools for farmers. Translating this readiness into real partnerships requires vision and platforms for dialogue. Let me commend Aquarian Consult Limited, ACL, whose vision and persistence have created a bridge across the Atlantic. Through the African Caribbean Investment Summit, ACL has catalyzed dialogue, facilitated mobility reforms, and built platforms where policymakers, private investors, and communities from both sides can meet as equals. This is not just summit diplomacy, it is architecture of a new era of South-South cooperation. The bond between Africa and Caribbean is more than symbolic. It is practical. Together, we can share knowledge on tropical crop production and climate-smart agriculture, build joint agribusiness ventures to reduce food import dependency, leverage our diaspora networks for trade and investment flows, and strengthen resilience through technology transfer and youth empowerment as we chart a course where the wisdom of experience guides us. while recognizing the energy of our youth and the resilience of our women as dynamic partners in the transformation. Nigeria stands ready to partner with St. Kitts and Nevis and with the wider Caribbean in charting this course. Distinguished colleagues, we are not starting a new relationship. We are deepening an old brotherhood. The seeds we plant here at the Caribbean Week of Agriculture will grow into forests of shared prosperity across the Atlantic. Africa is ready. Nigeria is ready. Together, Africa and the Caribbean are ready to feed themselves and fuel tomorrow's prosperity. And as the African proverb reminds us, let me quote, "When the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind." End of quote. From soil to sea, let us put down these deep roots of cooperation so that our partnership withstands every storm and flourishes for generations to come. Thank you, and may our bond continue to flourish.
Thank you to Senator Kayari. Ladies and gentlemen, the highly anticipated Brotherhood drummers are here. And so we will ask them to come and present their... Okay, here they are.
Overhead. That's for the recording.
They're just absolutely worth the wait. Another round of applause for the Brotherhood drummers. They're going to be a hard act to follow. I'm going to call on Dr. Wendell Samuel, Assistant Secretary General acting in the Economic Integration and Innovation Development CARICOM Secretariat.
Thank you very much, Chair. Give me a chance to catch my breath. It is certainly great to be back here in beautiful St. Kitts and Nevis. It is. And the next thing is really gives me great pleasure to recognize Her Excellency Dame Marcella Liebert, the Governor General of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Deputy Prime Minister of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Geoffrey Ian Hanley, Honorable Minister Samuel Duggins, Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources. CARICOM Ministers of Agriculture, other members of the Cabinet of St. Kitts and Nevis, Excellencies, Permanent Secretaries, farmers, distinguished delegates, development partners, stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen. First, let me say that if Melly was looking down today, he would have recognized that I'm sure he would be smiling, and he would recognize that the future of steel pan in this country is in safe hands. And with that, I'd like to, on behalf of the CARICOM Secretariat, it is my distinct pleasure to address you at the 19th Caribbean Week of Agriculture, the premier regional platform and forum for advancing dialogue and action in agriculture and rural development. I would like to thank the government and people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis for hosting the CWA 2025. The kind hospitality which St. Kitts and Nevis is well known for was on full display as we arrived on the weekend. I want to express my gratitude to the planning team and all who have been involved in making the arrangements for the 19th CWA. Your exemplary leadership and attention to organizational detail is truly inspiring, for which the entire CARICOM region is most appreciative. Colleagues, your presence and participation in this year's CWA is a signal to the region and to the world that food security is one of the highest priorities for the region. It is an indication that the region is doing something right. This success must be promoted, celebrated, and shared within the region and with the whole world. In just 4 short years, we started what was seen by many as just a dream when we launched the 25 by 2025 Food Import Bill Reduction Program. It was, at the time, a bold move to cut the region's food import bill by 25% by the year 2025. I am pleased to let you know that the program has borne fruit. and is continuing to provide us with green vegetables and fresh meat. We have been seeing real positive results. Please allow me to share a few with you. The hosting of 2 highly successful agricultural investment forums and expos in Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago, which laid the groundwork for both public and private investment and governance mechanisms. Approval and implementation of critical regional policies, trade policy for animal and animal products, regional agricultural health and food safety policy, SPS guidelines and alternative SPS settlement mechanism, regional guidelines for 19 agricultural products, introduction of regional agricultural insurance mechanisms, mobilization of cross-border agricultural investments, the creation of a US $100 million regional agricultural loan fund, the expansion of storage facilities for soy or corn up to 27,000 tons, increased resource mobilization and coordination toward implementation of the initiative. Large-scale private sector investment in dairy, small ruminants, soy, and poultry. This includes the construction of a US $20 million milk and dairy facility in Guyana. Such investments are critical to fostering innovations which would help attract the young people to the industry. And this is for whom the regional youth agriculture strategy was developed. I have had the opportunity to visit 2 of these facilities. The technology and innovation involved are game-changing. These are the kind of investment that would help to utilize our limited land and labor resources more productively and help to usher in a more competitive agricultural sector. But these are not isolated events. Everywhere you go, there are projects that you're hearing about, people doing innovative stuff. This augurs well for the future of the region. Other positive initiatives include the establishment of a regional electronic agricultural marketing information system, expanded technical assistance programs between member states, which is key to sharing the knowledge across the region. Improve alignment of development partners with the regional food and nutrition security policies. Investment in greenhouse technology and cold storage throughout the region. The list goes on, but we only have a limited time today. Moreover, we ought not to be resting on our laurels. After all, there is much more interesting work ahead of us than what is behind us. As we assess current progress, it is clear that this initiative has been transformative. Galvanizing investment, policy reform, and innovation across member states. However, we know that the journey does not end here. We have now extended this effort through 25 by 25 plus 5, not as an admission of delay, but as a declaration of resolve. It signals that our community is serious about consolidating gains, scaling up successful approaches, and achieving long-term resilience by 2030. 25 by 2025 plus 5 is therefore more than a target. It is a strategic framework for action, focusing on some key outcomes, including scaling up of priority commodities such as poultry, small ruminants, root crops, fruits and vegetables, embracing climate-smart agriculture to counter the risk of drought, flooding, and hurricanes, harnessing digital technology and innovation to improve productivity, traceability, and access to markets, ensuring inclusion by empowering our youth, supporting women entrepreneurs, and strengthening the role of farmers and fishers who are the backbone of our food systems. Achieving these ambitions requires strong partnership. Governments, the private sector, financial institutions, and development partners must work together to mobilize investment, transfer knowledge, and create the enabling environment for agribusiness to thrive. The Caribbean Week of Agriculture provides precisely this platform to share best practices, forge new collaborations, and to showcase the ingenuity of our farmers, processors, innovators, and stakeholders. We must use this CWA to forge even stronger investments, technical alliances, project formulations, and promote social entrepreneurship to impact the region's food system. In this regard, I would like to recognize the significant contribution of the Director General of IICA, Dr. Manuel Otero, to the CWA and the agricultural sector in general. You have been one of our staunchest supporters over the two terms. We wish you the best in the next chapter of your life, beginning 10/15 and January 15, 2026. Colleagues, we all agree that the task before us remains urgent. Food and nutrition security is not optional. It is essential to our economic stability, social well-being, and environmental resilience of our community. Let us therefore embrace and reaffirm 2025 by 2025 plus 5 as our collective commitment to sow the seeds of change and harvest resilience for generations to come. In closing, I once again thank the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis for hosting this important gathering, and I wish you all fruitful deliberations and a successful Caribbean Week of Agriculture 2025. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
We extend our gratitude to Dr. Samuel for that very informative presentation. I will now call on Honorable Samuel Duggins, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Marine Resources, to bring us remarks.
Good morning to all of you present here. And allow me, Madam Chair, to adopt the protocol established. However, with that, I wish to recognize in our presence as well Your Excellency Dame Marcella Liebert, esteemed Governor General of St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as our Deputy Prime Minister and current Acting Prime Minister, the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley. I also wish to recognize with us here our Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Leonine Blanchett, other colleague ministers, other excellencies, distinguished delegates, farmers, fishers, development partners, ladies, gentlemen. Again, I bid you a warm Sugar City, a nice Nevis, good morning. On behalf of the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis, it is my profound honor to welcome you to the 19th Caribbean Week of Agriculture. I extend a special welcome to all our local, regional, and international guests. Your presence here today is a powerful testament that our shared commitment to agriculture is strong our commitment to food security is secure, and the future of the Caribbean is well in line with our desires. We gather here under the theme, Sowing Change, Harvesting Resilience, transforming our Caribbean food systems for 2025 and beyond. This theme, ladies and gentlemen, captures both the urgency of our time and the opportunities that lie before us. It reminds us that the seeds we plant here today, the policies we shape, the partnerships we build, will determine the resilience and the prosperity that we shall reap tomorrow. It also challenges us not only to manage agriculture, but to transform it into the bedrock of a food secure, climate smart, and economically vibrant Caribbean. Ladies and gentlemen, agriculture is not just another sector. It is the very lifeblood of our people. It is a guarantee that every family can access healthy and nutritious food. It is the engine that can reduce our food import bill, create dignified work for our youth and our women, fuel entrepreneurship, and anchor our societies in resilience against global shocks. But colleagues, let us admit it. Our region has not always given agriculture the priority it deserves. Too often, it has been seen as a sector of last resort, rather than recognized as a pillar of sovereignty and a pillar of growth. For too long, our farmers and our fishers, the true heroes of food security, have carried the heaviest of these burdens with too little recognition and too little support. And I dare say here at this podium, that must change. This week must be remembered as the moment when we moved from words into deeds. The moment we moved from intentions into deliberate action. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we are sowing our own part of that future. Through our food import reduction program, we are investing in key crops such as bananas, plantains, coconuts, pineapples, and more. We are scaling climate-smart practices, expanding agro-processing, and we are empowering our youth and women to lead in this very transformation. But we are also recognizing that our efforts cannot stand alone. Agriculture today demands regional solidarity and global partnerships, especially South-South collaboration. This is why St. Kitts and Nevis has been deepening ties with our brothers and sisters in Africa. More recently, we have been establishing strong bonds with Nigeria, and you would have heard some presentations from the delegation earlier. Our partnership with Nigeria, though, is more than just bilateral engagement. It is a demonstration of what South-South collaboration means when you put it into practice. It reflects the understanding that our challenges are shared, and therefore, so too must be our solutions. Together, we can exchange knowledge and climate-smart farming. Together, we can mobilize investment across different areas of agro-processing. Together, we can build new value chains that stretch across the Atlantic. Together, we can forge a bridge between Africa and the Caribbean, widening opportunities for trade, technology transfer, and widening opportunities for cultural exchange. This, my friends, is the spirit of South-South cooperation. Nation with common histories, a common aspiration, uniting to secure their very own destiny. For the Caribbean, this collaboration is not just optional. It is essential if we are to thrive in a world of shifting geopolitics, fragile supply chains, and growing climate threats. So, as we meet here over the coming days, deliberating on policies, showcasing innovations, strengthening partnerships, let us carry this spirit of solidarity with us. Let us ensure that this Caribbean Week of Agriculture is not only about the Caribbean, but also about our shared journey with the wider global South. Ladies and gentlemen, let us not leave here at this gathering with only communiques and closing statements. Let us leave with commitments rooted in the soil, reflected on our oceans, and lived in the homes of our people. Let us leave here with the determination that the Caribbean would not only feed itself, but would also stand shoulder to shoulder with partners like Nigeria in shaping a more food-secure world. As host minister, I say this with conviction. The time for hesitation has passed. The time for excuses has expired. The time for transformation through solidarity and through action is right here, right now. May this 19th Caribbean Week of Agriculture mark the dawn of a new chapter, one where the seeds of change we sow today together become the harvest of resilience that will secure a stronger, a much brighter, and a more food-secure Caribbean, and a more food-secure Global South for 2025 and beyond. I thank you, I welcome you all, and I invite you to join hand in hand as we sow change, as we harvest resilience, and advance the South-South collaboration together. Thank you and good morning, my people.
Thank you to Minister Duggins for that insightful presentation. We'll now call on Mr. Vakil Herbert, who will sing for us.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning. So, I am Vakil Herbert from St. Kitts, all the way in the country, Sandy Point to be exact. Right? I know we have some Sandy Pointers here. All right. So, I have the privilege to. All right. I have the privilege to do this rendition for you guys. I think initially this song came out roughly like 20 years ago, right? And it's called A Prayer of a Ghetto Youth, right? And it was initially done by the Greenhouse Band way back then. But today I can stand here and tell you, no, I am also a member of the Greenhouse Band today, right? So look at history. So lend me your ears just for a few as I give you this rendition. Prayer of a Ghetto Youth. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Help us, Father, need to see the truth. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Come and help us here today. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Help us, Father, need to see the truth. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Come and help us here today. Listen, Father, help me find the job I seek today. Father, move these temptations out of my way. Father, help my kids walk safely to their schools. Father, and my baby mama, help her too. All these things that I ask you, Father, clean up the ghetto and make it better. Help my brethren in the jail, set his mind free, yeah. many days you saved my life. My mother gone to church, give me good advice. You put angels in the ghetto, they're watching over we, yeah. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Help us, Father, need to see the truth. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Come and help us here today. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Help us, Father, need to see the truth. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Come and help us here today. Listen, everybody. Tell them politicians to leave us alone and stop fooling our people. Father, my tongue from guy and all my hands from evil. Father, please send your powerful hands to the heart of the wicked ones and let us fight the demons inside. Oh, listen, all these things that I ask you, Father, clean up the ghetto and make it better. Help my brethren in the jail to set his mind free. Yeah. Father, thank the many days you saved my life. My mother gone to church, give me good advice. He put angels in the ghetto, they're watching over we. Yeah. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Help us, Father, need to see the truth. This is the prayer of a ghetto youth. Come and help us here today. This is the prayer of a ghetto youth. Help us, Father, need to see the truth. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Come and help us here today. I want to do it one last time. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Help us, Father, need to see the truth. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Come and help us here today. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Help us, Father, need to see the truth. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Come and help us here today. Oh, no. Oh. This is a prayer of a ghetto youth. Thank you so much, beautiful ladies and gentlemen.
That was beautiful. Another round of applause. Thank you to Mr. Herbert. We will now call on our keynote speaker, Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, and he's the Deputy Prime Minister of the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis.
Your Excellency, D. Marcella Liebert, Speaker of our National Assembly, and my grade 3 student, Honorable Lanier Blanchett, Honorable Samuel Duggins, Minister of Agriculture, all of our ministers of agriculture, heads of delegation, ambassadors, federal parliamentarians, a very pleasant good morning. I'm a teacher by profession. Good morning. It is truly an honor to be here with you for the opening of the 19th Caribbean Week of Agriculture. I bring warm greetings from the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I also bring greetings on behalf of our Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, who very much wanted to be here with you today. Unfortunately, pressing national duties have kept him away, and so it falls to me to deliver this keynote address on his behalf. He has also asked me to share not only his reflections, but also his deep commitment to ensuring that agriculture in our federation and across the Caribbean continues to be treated as one of the cornerstones of our sustainable development. Now I will speak plainly. Agriculture has always been the heartbeat of our Caribbean story. Long before we called ourselves independent nations, long before we established CARICOM, it was agriculture that first defined our place in the world. On the fertile soils of our islands, sugar, cocoa, coffee, banana, and cotton grew in abundance. In St. Kitts and Nevis, sugarcane dominated our economy for more than 350 years. Our island was, in fact, the first British colony in the Caribbean, and it was sugar that made it valuable. That history is not always easy to reflect on, because for generations, agriculture was tied to hardship and exploitation. But it also gave us lessons in resilience, lessons about the value of the land, and lessons about what it means to sustain life in a region often buffeted by storms, droughts, and economic shocks. When I say agriculture is in our blood, I mean it literally. Our parents, our grandparents, and our great-grandparents, they worked the land, they tilled the soil, they fished the seas, and they traded at markets. They kept goats, cows, and chickens. They passed down to us not only the skills of farming, but also an understanding that the land is not just a resource to be used, but a gift to be cared for. That is a lesson we must never forget. Today, agriculture is no less vital to who we are as a Caribbean people. In fact, it is more important than ever. We cannot talk about food security without agriculture. We cannot talk about sovereignty without agriculture. We cannot talk about climate resilience without agriculture. And we certainly cannot talk about sustainable development without agriculture. The truth is simple. If we cannot feed ourselves, we are not truly free. That is why in St. Kitts and Nevis, our government has placed food security at the very heart of our vision to become a sustainable island state. This vision, which Prime Minister Drew has outlined many times, rests on 7 pillars: renewable energy, economic diversification, food security, water security, climate resilience, digital transformation, and social protection. Among those, agriculture cuts across them all. Without a strong and vibrant agricultural sector, those other pillars cannot stand. We have been working deliberately to strengthen our agricultural sector. We know that traditional farming methods alone will not get us where we need to be. That is why we are introducing new technologies and practices: hydroponics, aquaponics, climate smart farming, improved irrigation, and renewable energy to power farms. We are supporting aquaculture, recognizing that the ocean too is part of our food basket. We are building out agri-parks, expanding livestock production, and ensuring our farmers have access to financing and training. But let me pause here to say, agriculture is not only about technology and investment. It is about people. It is about inspiring more of our young men and women to see agriculture not as something their grandparents did, but as something they can do to build a future for themselves. Too often, young people hear the word agriculture and immediately picture back-breaking labor under a hot sun. That is not the agriculture of the future. The agriculture of the future is creative, it is innovative, it is technologically advanced, and it can be very profitable. Across the Caribbean, we are seeing young people building agribusinesses, using social media to market their products, creating value-added goods, and even exporting to new markets. This is the kind of energy that we want to see more in St. Kitts and Nevis and across the CARICOM. Our young people are some of the brightest and most tech-savvy in the world. If we can connect their energy and creativity with the richness of our land and sea, we will transform this sector completely. St. Kitts and Nevis and in the wider Caribbean, we are blessed with fertile soils, a favorable climate, and a sea rich in fish and marine life. These are treasures, but they are not endless. They must be cared for. They must be used wisely. In St. Kitts and Nevis, our government is committed to sustainable land management, to protecting our marine ecosystem, and ensuring that agriculture develops hand in hand with environmental protection. In recent times, we have also been looking outward, building partnerships that will enrich our agricultural sector. These partnerships are part of our strategy to modernize agriculture, but also to ensure that the Caribbean as a whole is more food secure. Because here is the reality. As small island states, we remain too dependent on imports. On average, Caribbean countries import more than 80% of what we eat. That is vulnerability we can no longer afford. If global supply chains are disrupted, if shipping costs continue to soar, or if crops fail in the land, our people will feel it directly at the supermarket shelves. That is why the CARICOM 25 by 25 initiative to reduce our food import bill by 25% by the year 2025 is so important. And I want to emphasize that this is not a slogan. it is a call to action. Every farmer who plants a new crop, every fisherman who expands his catch sustainably, every entrepreneur who creates a new agriculture product is contributing to this regional goal. In St. Kitts and Nevis, we are proud to be playing our part. We are increasing local production of fruits, vegetable, meat, and fish. We are supporting farmers and fishers with equipment, seeds, and training. We are improving access to land and water for agricultural use. We are creating better market opportunities for local produce so that our farmers can earn a fair living. Now, let me be clear. We still have a long way to go. Agriculture is not an easy sector. Farmers face hurricanes, droughts, pests, diseases, and of course, increasing prices. They face challenges in financing, transportation, and market access. But if there is one thing I know, is that the Caribbean people do not back down from any challenges. We rise to them. Agriculture has tested us before, and it will test us again, but we are resilient people, and together we will find solutions each time. My friends, as we open this 19th Caribbean Week of Agriculture, let us see it as a reminder of who we are, where we came from, and where we must go. Let us use it to strengthen regional cooperation, to share knowledge and best practices, to recommit ourselves to making agriculture a sector of choice, a sector of pride, and a sector of prosperity. I want to close by saying a word of thanks to all who continue to labor in this field. Our farmers, our fishers, agro-processors, extension officers, scientists, and entrepreneurs. Your is not easy work. Your work is definitely not easy. It is demanding, often unpredicted, but absolutely vital. You are the ones who feed us. You are the ones who protect our food sovereignty. You are the ones who remind us that the wealth of the Caribbean lies not just in hotels or in offshore services, but in the richness of our land and sea. On behalf of the Honorable Prime Minister and the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis, I salute you. I challenge us all, policymakers, farmers, youth, citizens alike, to value agriculture, not just as a relic of the past, but as a promise for the future. If we can do that, then agriculture will remain, as it has always been, the heartbeat of the Caribbean. And to our visitors, please ensure that you get an opportunity to explore the entire Federation, because in St. Kitts, we are sweet, sweet, and in Nevis, it's nice. Thank you.
Thank you to Dr. Hanley for that clarion call to work together for the success of the agricultural sector across the region. We will now take this time to recognize the 2025 CARICOM Agriculture Awardees. First, I will call on the Deputy Prime Minister once again to come forward as we recognize the CARICOM Young Farmer of the Year 2025. And this person has been chosen, and it is Michael Joseph. Michael Joseph is
My name is Michael Joseph, a 21-year-old self-funded farmer from Antigua and Barbuda. I started with nothing, walking 4 miles each day to reach my farm, irrigating with recycled plastic bottles because I couldn't afford drip lines. Today, I farm just over 1.5 acres using no-till methods and sustainable practices, which enables me to produce twice the average yield per acre compared to traditional farms. I operate 2 spray drones that reduce labor, water, and chemical use by over 50% while increasing coverage and yield. I also provide drone services to over 20 farmers across the island. To manage drought, I use water storing crystals that cut water use in half and keep crops productive even during the dry spells. I practice Korean natural farming, cultivating microorganisms to revitalize the soil and strengthen plant health. I also create USDA-approved natural insecticides and fungicides using local materials to avoid synthetic chemicals. My tractor and excavator allows me to support other farmers with land preparation and clearing. I've presented on drone technology both locally and internationally, including at the ICA headquarters during the 2025 OECS joint meeting in Costa Rica. My goal is to modernize farming and empower youth and help build a climate-smart, food-secure Caribbean.
CARICOM Young Farmer of the Year 2025, Michael Joseph.
Well, good morning, ministers, distinguished guests, colleagues. It is truly an honor to stand here today, recognized as this year's CARICOM Youth Farm of the Year. This award is not just about me, but it represents an investment in youth, in innovation, and in the future of food security within our region. With an aging farming population, an investment in young farmers is not just an option, but it is a necessity. Because without food, we can't have no future. I want to sincerely thank the Ministry of Agriculture within Antigua and Barbuda for their continued support throughout my entire journey and for making it possible for me to stand here today. I also want to thank CARICOM and its member states for this recognition. And I also want to highlight the OECS, ICA, and FAO for their continued support and initiatives which have created spaces for young people like me to learn, to share, and collaborate across the region. These initiatives have helped shape me, strengthen my vision, and have helped me to realize we are stronger when we work together. And to my fellow young farmers across the Caribbean, our generation has the responsibility to feed the future and the ability to do it so sustainably. And I will close with this. An investment in young farmers is an investment in food, and an investment in food is an investment in life itself. Thank you.
Congratulations once again to Mr. Michael Joseph of Antigua and Barbuda. Our next awardee, the CARICOM Farmer of the Year 2025. And this goes to Jamaica Broilers Limited, the best dressed chicken.
I am Dr. Janelle Wallace, broiler manager for the Best Fresh Chicken, Jamaica Broilers Group. So I'm in charge of 73 growth facilities across St. Catherine and Clarendon. We have a total of 249 houses. And of course, those are backed by the latest technology for production as well as for energy efficiency.
At the Best Dressed Chicken, we don't just raise poultry. We power Jamaica's food independence and uplift agriculture across the Caribbean. Our network includes 73 farms and 249 chicken houses, the island's major producer. From fresh chicken to value-added favorites like breaded tenders and nuggets, we serve schools, hotels, fast food chains, and homes with products tailored for every table. Innovation fuels us with 52 solar-powered farms, real-time digital monitoring, automated climate systems, and a biodigester that turns waste into clean energy. Our energy-efficient proving systems and tailored farmer training keep the sector resilient. We've cut water use by 25%, transitioned to a 6.5 megawatt LNG plant, reducing emissions by 70%, and replaced over 100,000 single-use boxes with sustainable packaging. Our commitment to regional development goes far beyond Jamaica's borders to the Caribbean agricultural sector by supplying fresh poultry and further processed items to Cayman, Barbados, and other islands. As the leading Caribbean partner, we work to unite regional stakeholders in a shared mission of advancing food security, increasing local production, and reducing dependence on imports. We stand beside our farmers, advocate for the industry, lead public campaigns for food security, and work closely with the Ministry of Agriculture and regional stakeholders. The Best Dressed Chicken is Jamaica's poultry pioneer, the Caribbean's agricultural leader, and we're feeding the future, one innovation at a time.
So at the Best Fresh Chicken, it's not just merely about selling a bird. We are a family dedicated first and foremost to efficient poultry production, backed by sound research and technology, and of course with a clear focus of feeding the nation one innovation at a time.
I'd like to call on the Director General of AICA and Minister Duggins to present this award.
Her Excellency Marcella Liberd, Governor General St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Ian Hanley, Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Samal Duggins, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Marine Resources, representatives of CARICOM Secretariat, fellow farmers and producers, colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. They say you reap what you sow. Today, I stand here on the shoulders of thousands who have sown with heart, hands, and hope. It is with deep gratitude and great pride that I accept the CARICOM 2025 Farmer of the Year Award on behalf of the Best Dressed Chicken Jamaica Broilers Division. This moment belongs to every farmer in our network, every team member on the ground, every customer who chooses local, our Ministry of Agriculture, Industry Support, and every stakeholder who believes in the power of Caribbean agriculture. Together, we have made this possible. At the Best Dressed Chicken,
We are more than a company. We are part of a movement. For over 65 years, we have worked to build a fully integrated agricultural system, from breeder farms, hatcheries, and feed mill to farms and finished products, all designed to serve one purpose: food security. Today, with 73 farms and 249 poultry houses, Jamaica can produce all the chicken it consumes. That's not just statistics, that's sovereignty on a plate. That's jobs in our communities, that's resilience in action. But we don't do it alone. We partner with contract farmers, providing them with quality chicks, balanced feed, expert veterinary care, and ongoing training, helping them to grow stronger business and better livelihoods. We have also embraced innovation at every level, from solar-powered farms and waste-to-energy systems to real-time digital monitoring and automated climate control. Every tool we use serves a bigger purpose: efficiency, sustainability, and long-term growth. Across the Caribbean, we share common challenges: climate pressures, rising costs, and global push for food independence. But we also share a powerful opportunity to lead with purpose and to feed our region with pride. Today, our industry contributes over 392,000 full-time employment jobs, $62 billion in wages, and 310 billion Jamaican dollars in economic activities to Jamaica, based on the recent Ernst & Young study conducted on behalf of the Caribbean Poultry Association. This award strengthens our resolve to continue the fight for food security and innovation, from increasing local production to expanding our line of value-added products that meet the evolving needs of our people and our markets. Let's keep feeding the future, building resilience, and proving that Caribbean agriculture is not just viable, it's vital. Thank you, and may God continue to bless our farmers, our food, and our future. Thank you.
Congratulations again to Jamaica Broilers Limited. We will now have a presentation to Dr. Manuel Otero, Director General of ICA, and this will be done by Dr. Wendell Samuel.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samuel. Please transmit my greetings to Dr. Barnett, my admiration to the work she's doing. Let me emphasize that agriculture is much more than providing food. It's better nutrition, it's having a very important role in energy transition, but above all, it's an instrument for peace. So I receive this recognition, I accept this recognition on behalf of those farmers that have to stay in the rural areas. Please, they have to stay in rural areas. Don't migrate, because the transformation is undergoing and we need them in the rural areas. On behalf of also of the ICA family and on behalf of my own family. Beginning January 16, 2026, I will come back to Argentina, to Buenos Aires. Nobody's perfect. I am Argentinian. And I do hope to become the most Caribbean of all Argentinians. Thank you very much.
We wish Dr. Otero the best as he transitions. Ladies and gentlemen, we are wrapping up. I will now call on Sylvine Stevenson Grant to offer us the vote of thanks.
With all other protocol duly observed, allow me to especially recognize Her Excellency, the Governor General Marcella Liburd, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley, and the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries and Marine Resources, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, Dr. Wendell Samuel, Assistant Secretary General, CARICOM Secretariat, Honorable Ministers of Agriculture of the Caribbean Community, Excellencies, development partners, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the organizers, I wish to extend our deepest appreciation to all those who have made this morning's ceremony such a meaningful and memorable beginning to the week ahead. Firstly, we would like to thank the government and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis for the warmth and generosity with which you have welcomed us. In particular, we would like to extend heartfelt appreciation to the Honorable Samuel Duggins and his dedicated team at the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Marine Resources for their tireless work in bringing this opening ceremony and indeed the entire Caribbean Week of Agriculture to life. Your leadership, commitment, and hospitality have set the tone for what promises to be a successful and inspiring week. We would like to also extend sincere appreciation to our international partners, including the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, the World Food Program, the Inter-American Development Bank, the Taiwan International Corporation and Development Fund, and the Partnership Initiative for Sustainable Land Management. Equally, we would like to thank our regional institutions and agencies such as the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, the Caribbean Agricultural Health and Food Safety Agency, the Caribbean Public Health Agency, the Caribbean Regional Fisheries Organizations Mechanism, the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, the University of the West Indies, and the Caribbean Development Bank. We also recognize the important role of private sector and community partners, such as the Caribbean Private Sector Organization and the Caribbean Network of Rural Women Producers. We are also grateful to our sponsors whose support has helped to make this year's Caribbean Week of Agriculture possible. These include FLO, St. Kitts, the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, SL Horsfords and Company Limited, the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla Trading and Development Company Limited, the East Caribbean Group of Companies, King's Pavilion Supermarket, and Legacy Farm. To our local and international exhibitors, thank you for bringing your innovations, your products, and your passion to this year's event. Your presence adds vibrancy and richness to the CWA experience. To our gracious hosts here at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort, we are grateful for your hospitality and the excellent facilities provided for today's ceremony and the week ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have launched what promises to be an exciting, impactful week, one filled with technical sessions, policy dialogues, exhibitions, farmers' forums, and networking opportunities, all guided by the theme, sowing change, harvesting resilience, transforming our Caribbean food systems for 2025 and beyond. As we officially begin, we would like to thank each of you for your presence and participation, and we look forward to the meaningful exchanges and collaborations that will take place in the days to come. In closing, it has been a privilege to share these words of gratitude on behalf of the organizers of the Caribbean Week of Agriculture. Thank you, and may we all enjoy a successful and inspiring week ahead. Thank you.
And I have the opportunity of thanking Ms. Sylvine Stevenson Grant for thanking us. A few housekeeping matters as we head out. Participants are asked to note that there are light refreshments in the Sabre room. You can enter from the door on the terrace outside. There will also be registration taking place during refreshments. Lunch for delegates will be served in the Calypso restaurant. Lunch starts at 12:30 and ends at 1:30. As we conclude the official opening, I again thank you all for being here. May this 19th Caribbean Week of Agriculture inspire us to sow meaningful change and harvest the resilience that our Caribbean people and food systems deserve. Let us now look forward to a productive and transformative week ahead. Thank you so much. Please stand for the departure of the Governor General of St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you once again. Have a great week.
Plant your food.